All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Lovely to have you join us today. The reason I replayed that song, Bibanke, is because of a video I saw online earlier. And I'm going to share it with you later. It's actually it's a bit sad, but I guess it's a good place to begin the conversation today. But before we get into the conversation at all, let me welcome folks on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Thank you very much for joining us today. Lovely Monday evening, regardless of some of the things that we see um, in terms of people expressing their grief about the security situation in Nigeria, specifically in Southwest. Things that happened a couple of weeks ago now, and a lot of people are trooping out, protesting, and we're going to talk about that later. So today, security and the 2027 power play. It looks like a lot of these things actually have political undertones. But regardless, I mean, it's something that's a bit worrying, particularly with the impact that this event having on people across the length and breadth of Nigeria, but particularly the southwest, which is a very peaceful part of the country. All right. So, thank you very much, Madam Oduwole Bronke. Good evening. Thank you very much for being here. Good evening, Adeglo. Good evening, Kopoko. Good evening, Prince. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Chakado. And thanks again for tapping on TikTok. We do have really good numbers, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. So, just gonna start out with this particular video of a woman who was, I think she's a transporter, and some people took a recording of her expressing herself, about the sad situation that we found ourselves right now in the Southwest. Of course, this is not all, but it's important to start here because for me, it's just very, very emotional. So let's start with this particular video. There's a woman crying during a protest in Ibadan, appealing to President Tinubu and security agencies to rescue abducted victims in the Ogbomoso. Please take a listen to this.
Ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn láṣì wà níbi tí a ti rí àwọn òbí àti àwọn alágbàtọ́ àti àwọn olùkọ́ tí wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn láti sọ fún ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti ìjọba orílẹ̀-èdè àti ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ láti fi òfin pín sí àìní ètò ààbò ní àwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ wa. Ìyá kan ní tí ó ṣe iṣẹ́ òòjọ́ rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ tí ó dẹ̀ ń wa omi ẹkún lẹ́nu. Mọ́mì, kí lẹ lè sọ sí gbogbo nǹkan rògbòdìyàn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà?
All right, there's a lot of noise there, but I hope you got what and she's a writer, she has a care, and has passengers as well, so in tears. But I mean, beyond prayers, people are actually trooping out to protest to demand that the government get serious about security of lives and property in Nigeria. Take a listen to some of them. This one is from Ibadan, Mokola Roundabout. Take a listen to this, please.
Our message is clear. By all means necessary, bring back our teachers! Your state must not be the best center of banditry. Yes. Or your best center state must not be the best center of banditry and kidnapping. And that is why we are taking this message very strong. I don't expect anybody in a serious country, serious citizens, you don't know anywhere what is I don't want that. But because we are but we are not so used to uselessness. We are so used to suffering.
There are those who talk about the political undertone of this whole thing and say something like, I don't protest here. I don't think that this is the right time to actually get into such conversations. People are actually protesting. I think they have a right to do so. While, of course, we know how things will go. It's our people talking about our people. So this is not, what people are, insinuating. I'm glad they're coming out because at some point, people are going to have to voice out beyond just, complaining and grumbling. This other lady who was on the street as well, and this, of course, was in Ibadan as well. Take a listen, please.
Come and join us. Lend your voice. Let's stop this child brutality. We can no longer enjoy it anymore. Let's bring back those 42 kids and their teachers. Those children, they are innocent. No more papa. Let's come outside. This can happen to anyone, anybody. Don't never say it can never happen to you. Only jealousy. Let's come out and lend our voice before it will get too late. Please, we are begging everybody. Please come outside.
All right, that's one of the protesters in Ibadan. But Ibadan is not the only place to Shellel. People are protesting across Oyo State and also in Ogun State. This is a clip from Abeokuta. These young people are in front of, I think they are from Apoli. But it's not just about Apoli actually, but this happened in Abeokuta. Please take a listen to this clip. All right, that's the protest in Abeokuta. Interestingly, Abeokuta is also going to be the venue of the official inauguration of Irekun, or official launch of Irekun Security Network. That's Sunday goes. Paid me for this advert. I think it's okay to inform us that it will be officially launching a security network in Abeokuta on the 2nd of June, Tuesday, at Kuto, 9 a.m. Take a listen to this.
Attention, all Yoruba sons and daughters. Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, cordially invite all Yoruba to the official launch of the Irueko Security Network in Abeokuta, Ogun State. This important event marks another significant step towards strengthening community security and promoting the safety and well-being of our people. Our love historic occasion. The event is scheduled to hold at Kuto, Abeokuta, Ogun State, on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, by 9 a.m. Your presence and support will be highly appreciated as we come together to witness the official unveiling of the Irueko Security Network. Together for a safer and more secure Yoruba land. Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Yeah, so that's that about Iraq. And I think it's actually quite nice that we're having an organization like this, getting set up in Yoruba land. And to those who have been showing concerns and expressing concerns and their, feelings about the entire idea, the entire thing about, establishing the security net. I'm a bit flustered. Anyway, for those who have been, sharing their thoughts and their concerns about Iraq, I think it's important to, continually use this platform to explain some of these things to us, that it is not, like ESN, as some people have been saying, it's similar to civilian JTF in the north or Tantita in Niger Delta. The security network, meanwhile, called right, is going to be under agencies of the government. So, we also call on government, of course, to make sure the oversight on it, that is around organization by come right, so that we don't, begin to experience whatever it is that people are afraid of. But I'm glad that we're having this because we need the lands on deck to secure Yoruba land. There's a video I saw the other day where a Fulani neighbor was saying that he's afraid of Sunday Igboho and he's the only one he's afraid of. Sometimes you need to have people like that in your corner that folks are just afraid of. Sometimes it also gets people put to check, and there's nothing wrong with that. Is doing that. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has also put out a message, and he did that earlier today. At my direction, following the visit of a high-level federal government delegation that I sent to the Eshele and Yawota communities in Orire local government area of Oyo State, I have approved the recruitment of 1,000 forest guards in collaboration with the Oyo State government. I've also directed the deployment of a specialized security unit with advanced rescue capabilities to intensify efforts to secure the safe return of the abducted pupils and teachers. The community's request for the establishment of a military base in the area is receiving urgent consideration. I share the pain and anxiety of the affected families. No child should be taken from the safety of a classroom. No parent should have to endure this anguish. Our rescue efforts will be intelligence-led, careful, coordinated, and sustained. We will deploy every lawful tool available, both kinetic and non-kinetic, to ensure our children and teachers are safely returned home. I also extend my deepest condolences to Mrs. Mary Oyedokun, the wife of the lead school teacher, and her family. Their sacrifice will not be forgotten, and his family will not be abandoned. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is actually quite good. It's good news. Good news, right? The fact that the president is speaking up on this matter. And 1,000 forest guards in collaboration with Oyo State. All right, they're going to be recruiting, the federal government is going to be recruiting 1,000 forest guards in collaboration with the Oyo State government, which is quite nice. But while that's going on, the NUT has declared indefinite strike in Oyo State. All right, NUT, took them a while, but what did they do to very strong governance? So teachers in public schools across the, that will be primary and secondary schools in Oyo State have now gone on strike. I hope this also gets our politicians and our security agencies to really get busy. because, I mean, we need all the help we can get, don't we? All right, while that's happening in Nigeria, some of our folks outside the country have also expressed sadness with the kind of, with the news of events coming out of, one second, okay, yeah. With the news of the events coming out of Nigeria, and one of them is Skepta. He's a British Nigerian MC, and he had this to say about, the whole issue. Don't share the Nigerian say, Mumbo, I'm a bit distracted because I'm trying to get you that video, and I think I have now. So please take a listen.
Morning. I just had the memory on my phone when we were at the NSARS protest on ground, and it just got me thinking, man. I was like, it still feels like it's just so much injustice still in Nigeria, and whenever I can, whether it's at my shows, verbally, imagery, whatever I can do, we're going to speak up for injustice at all times. Nigerians, we're like that as people, whether that's Congo, Sudan, Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, Cuba, we're going to speak up, but please, help us. Nigerians, we need help too. We need people to speak up for us as well. We need to protect Nigerian girls. There's so much injustice in Nigeria. We could go on for all day, So this is my message to the people that please, I know that we're resilient and we make everything look good, but we need help too. So please help us, help Nigeria speak up.
So apart from the video, he also shared a number of tweets. I'm going to read one of them. It says, I'm a British Nigerian, yes, but I've always cared about Nigeria, and anybody that has followed my career can vouch for that. I have houses in Nigeria. I want to take my kids home to a safe country, just like we traveled the rest of the world. Why should I not speak about what is happening in my homeland? We're glad he's speaking up. One of the celebrities who have chosen to respond to Skepta, and I'm smiling because of the way he said what he said. You're going to understand why I'm smiling once you start listening to this next clip. One of the celebrities that have chosen to respond to Skepta is none other than Portable Omolalomi, and here is what he had to say. Take a listen, please.
Hello, Skepta. God bless you. No go spoil for you. As you remember Nigeria, God no go forget you. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. Skepta, Big Smoke, Pelu Tobacco. I want to remember you. You say we celebrity, make we speak. Justice for Nigeria, make them pick us. The one where we talk, where we speak. Where they want to use our records, they go arrest us. They oppress us. If we talk our mind, they go use them. They go beat us. They use their money, they beat us. They oppress prayer. They been una dey outside country. Make una start to dey speak. They no fit pick una from there now. We go dey Nigeria. Make una start to dey speak. They no fit pick una from there now. We go dey Nigeria now. We no go fit move, come out. They go seize our passport. We celebrity. We talk with you, no supposed talk. So talk. How you want to stay shop? How you want to make money? Living life. Alubarika, make it enter my own life. Make it make money. Skepta. It's not about say no be say Nigeria celebrity. We don't want to talk. If we talk, they go pick us. What do they have for Nigeria? Say don't tire us. They won't make life tire us. But if you fly, come up. Come London now. United States of America. Russia. We'll go Canada now. If you talk. But Nigeria, where they are, there's no talk. They go block us. They will kidnap us. People say, we say they no get voice. They pick them. Talking as though we will get voice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Level. You see.
This guy is crazy. But But of course, thank God for social media. Everybody gets to share their thoughts, and it's good to also hear Portable sharing his thoughts. All right. And just like Portable gets a chance to share his thoughts, we also have, in fact, before I go to the other video, let me read something to you. There was an exchange between Portable and Skepta much later. And this is something from Skepta. It says, Tony Montana, I never said celebrities should speak up. That is not my message. Because that's the truth. It never says celebrities should speak up. I mean, you all listen, at least, even if you didn't watch it, you all listen to Skepta when he was speaking. Kodaruko celebrity, but the main character, I guess. Anyway, here's his response. I never said celebrity should speak up. That is not my message. I'm talking to people around the world. They should remember Nigeria needs help too. And there's Portable response, God bless you, my helper. We really appreciate you. If many people speak outside Nigeria can speak for us as you speak. I'm coming London soon. I see the job Tony Montana screaming money. Thank you for the grace. This guy is something else. But yeah, that's Portable. And I'm smiling like this because sometimes when Mata don't to pass cry, after the smile remain. But yeah, someone in the comment section, Olateju says, Makinde was playing politics, not knowing he was governing a frontline state. And I think Dr. Abati also shares your sentiment, and he has advised that the governor of Oyo State should not play politics with the lives of the children, especially considering what's happening at the moment. Please take a listen to Dr. Ruben Abati, Varais TV.
The whole idea of whether it's Amotekun or some other paramilitary units, whether you call it vigilante or whatever in any part of the country, came about as a result of the failure of the Nigerian police force. Hence, state governments, local councils then said, well, let's find a way to, secure our people. Hence, you had Amotekun. By way of history, yes, the state government created Amotekun. Other states in other parts of the country created other units, but even that was controversial in terms of control between those states and the existing Nigeria police force. And in the Southwest, yes, the man who led that process is the late governor of Ondo State, Governor Akeredolu. So for historical purposes, that's the contest. However, it's also important that Governor Makinde does not play politics with security, with state security. About a week or two ago, he was promising Nigerians that those students, 42 of them, 7 teachers, one of them killed, who were taken away from Orire local government area in his own state, that the state government will do everything possible, to make sure that those students are returned. We saw those students on screen yesterday. Nobody knows where they are. No, that is the urgent matter. I don't think that this is the right occasion to be discussing state police.
Right.
Number 3, it is not true that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been dilly-dallying over state police. He has always supported it. He even wrote a whole book on federalism, and that's a fact. Number 4 is that this same President Tinubu has at least more than 3 occasions called on the Senate, on the National Assembly, to expedite action on the creation of state police, particularly now that almost all the states are taking a decision that they also support it. And it's not a thing that Governor Makinde can say, oh, if they allow us, we will do it immediately. No, it's a constitutional process. It's a procedure. It is methodical. To change the constitution of Nigeria, you follow the process at a time under Section 9 of the 1999 Constitution. And what it says is that you have to get a concurrence or any matter. You still have to follow that process. It's not a thing that you can pronounce into existence. Now it's for the Senate, the National Assembly, as it were, to pursue that process and make sure it comes to fruition. It's not something somebody can pronounce.
Yeah.
That was Dr. Ruben Abati, and brilliant submission. And I hope that, our politicians are listening. Yeah, there's time for everything, right? I know when election season and people tend to, you say anything that you have to say in order to be able to get anything. So, but I don't think this is the time for politicking, right? Especially when these kids are still being held, And in case you don't understand why he said that, why Dr. Abati was, talking to the government, advising the governor of Oyo State the way he did, I'd like to listen to something the governor of Oyo State said a few days ago so you can understand the context. Take a listen, please.
This is a very tough period for me as a person and also for our state. But people will know that security was one of the major pillars of this administration. I put together with me to do a package, and the same thing is for a package. And it will remain a major pillar. Ìjọba ìtòdé kò sí nǹkan tó jẹ́ Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ní Ọ̀yọ́ State. We wanted state police. It was because I get state police ní àṣeṣe Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn as a stopgap. They should stop wasting Nigeria's time. Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn, the Speaker of Oyo State House of Assembly 1B, we passed a common law in Gbogbo Southwest, the House of Assembly, Gbogbo states tó wà ní Southwest Nigeria, they passed the law. And that led to the creation of Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn. The only state still create Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn, Lagos State ni. A sì mọ ìdí tí wọn ò ṣe create Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn torí pé tó jọ̀gá wọn kò fẹ́ Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn. Wọ́n ibi tá a dé yìí, kó mọ̀ pé ajá lọ́bọ̀ fún wa. Tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ṣe state police, don't ask the Inspector General of Police láti create state police fún wa. Our state assembly will create it. Give them the authority, the support. They are here. Within the shortest possible time, state police will come to be.
When this video came out last week, I said, and I'm going to repeat it, that is a political statement. Okay? And it's understandable. He's trying to become president. He's running on the platform of APM. That's the governor of Oyo State. So it's understandable that politicians will be politicians, but I don't think that we should subject this kind of, conversation to politicking. So here are the facts. Lagos State was very involved. I'm going to come back and even get deep into it because I want you to listen to another video, by the same governor, Seyi Makinde. Lagos State was very involved in the whole process of Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn, and there's no Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn in Lagos, and that's because there were other security outfits that the Lagos State government had already instituted before Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn. All right, and the idea that the the president is not interested in state policing is also not true. But before I get into all of that, I think you just listen to one more video from Engineer Seyi Makinde. Again, I want to chalk it down to two things. Number one, Itara. When the box stops at your table, you're looking for anybody that can help you. So perhaps that's why he said that. But there's also a lot of politicking in what he said, and I don't think it was necessary, to be honest. But here's another video from him, and it was on Channel TV. He was a guest of Seun Baloyi on Politics Today, and this is what the governor had to say. Please take a listen to this.
State police. I did not submit any memoranda
on state police. But my position is very clear about state police. I didn't submit, not because of arrogance, but I don't think the approach will quickly get us to where we want to go to. You're asking the state, to submit memoranda, how state police will work. I see it as, quite frankly, a waste of our time. I think the National Assembly, they know what to do. They have people that can quickly do this work. It is not the National Security Administration.
Discover the future of
All right, so that was Sheyi Makinde, Governor Sheyi Makinde. Like I said, I'm going to read some things very quickly. That's so what he said in this last video, he said he didn't submit a memorandum, as far as security is concerned. When everybody was submitting, he did not, and he has his reasons, of course. But it's important to make certain things clear. So this is from March 3, 2020, Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation. They published this on March 3rd, 2020. The Lagos State House of Assembly at plenary on Tuesday, 3rd March 2020, passed the bill to create Southwest Security Amotekun Corps as a special unit of the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps. Okay? Governor Akinwumi Ambode, I'm reading from Folu now. Governor Akinwumi Ambode signed into law the act establishing the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps in June 2016. In 2019, the law was amended to establish Amotekun as a subunit of the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps. It is imperative that we all be guided and focus on securing the territories that have been legally handed to us by our citizens to govern and protect. That's from Folu on Twitter. But I just read the beginning of that bit from Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation that Lagos State indeed passed the bill after reading by the House, after amendments to Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency. So if you live in Lagos, you must have heard of the Neighborhood Watch. That's the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency. So what they did was to amend that law and to now have Amotekun within it as a subunit of that particular agency in Lagos State. So it's not right, it's not right to say that Lagos State somehow scuttled something or didn't want to be part of whatever. That's not what it is. That's not what happened. All right. Then the president himself, I'll see if I can find you that stuff because it's important for me to read that quickly before I go to other things. Give me a second. The president himself, when he wrote to the National Assembly, when he wrote, to commiserate with, the Oyo State government and the people who were kidnapped and stuff like that, he also talked about state policing and how the National Assembly should do something about it. And I think there's a little, I don't know if it's miscommunication or I don't want to say what other thing I think it must have been. But no state government in Nigeria can create state police in Nigeria as it is today. Okay, no matter how passionate you are, you cannot create that. You can't. And the reason is because of Section 214 of the Nigerian Constitution. The federal government, the NPF, is the only police force that can exist in this country called Nigeria. In other words, if you're going to have something else, then it has to be that the National Assembly would have to amend the Constitution to enable you create state police. So it's not enough to say, okay, I want to create state police, I want to create state police. There are laws that will not even allow you to be able to do that. And I think it's important for us to set the record straight. What the president actually said when I hope I can find it. If I don't find it, I'll just tell you what it is. In that letter, it told, okay, I found it. I think I found it. Okay. So the last paragraph there, it says cases of kidnapping further make, in fact, let me read the entire thing, okay? President Tinubu assures on rescue of kidnapped victims in Oyo State, condemns reported killing of abducted teacher. President Bola Tinubu has condemned as barbaric the reported killing of one of the abducted teachers from the Esiele community in Oyo State while the rescue operation is underway. Bandits invaded the Esiele community in Orire local government area of Oyo State last Friday. The abducted staff, students, and pupils of Community Grammar School, Baptist Nursery and Primary School, and LA Primary School. Security operatives are working around the clock to rescue the victims and apprehend the bandits and their collaborators within the community. President Tinubu sympathized with Governor Seyi Makinde, the government, and the people of Oyo State for the unfortunate incident and assured them that the federal government will collaborate with the state government to rescue the victims. Quote, I am saddened by the reported killing of one of the teachers kidnapped by the gunmen who invaded the community. I sympathize with Governor Seyi Makinde and commend the steps he has taken on the matter. I sympathize with the families of the kidnapped victims. So the victims, Director General of Police, and the Commissioner of State for their quick intervention and the deployment of a tactical and intelligence response team, IRT, to rescue the victims. The IGP, following my instructions, is personally leading the tech-driven operation. We expect a breakthrough soon. The bandits and all their local collaborators will be fished out and made to face the full wrath of the law. By the way, this was on the 18th of May, so it's not very cool, to be honest, because those kids are still there. I don't know, I mean, they've got to do more than what they've done so far to help us get those children and teachers out. Last paragraph, cases of kidnapping further make imperative the establishment of state police to man some of our undeserved areas. The National Assembly should accelerate the enactment of the law creating state police, the president said. So you see, it's important for us to understand that, the president is not sitting on the fence when it comes to state policing. He's one of the advocates and proponents of state police, and in that particular press release, he actually mentioned why it's important for the National Assembly to do what they have to do in order to get state police, what's the word now? The law enacted that will create state police. So it's not enough to just say, oh, let us just do it. That's not how it works. Interestingly, I don't know if I want to read this, to be honest. 2024, Governor Makinde was not very, very open to the idea of state policing. If we have to be truthful, I have a report here, but I don't think it's necessary to read it. But regardless of what he thought back in the day, I'm glad that today he's interested in having state police, and every other governor is also talking about it. So that's something good for us. Okay? Because if you go back to March 2024, the federal government requested that state governors should submit memorandum on proposed modalities for the creation of state police. All right? And out of all the governors in Nigeria, 36 governors, only 16 submitted memoranda. Only 16. 20 governors did not submit any memorandum. And I'm actually glad that Governor Seyi Makinde himself said in the video, in that interview we just listened to, that he did not submit any memorandum. And just in case you did not hear when he said it, I'll play it for you one more time. Give me a second. All right. Please take a listen to Governor Seyi Makinde on Politics Today on Channels TV.
Police. I did not submit any memoranda on state police, but my position is very clear about state police. I didn't submit not because of arrogance, but I don't think the approach will quickly get us to where we want to go to. you're asking the state, to submit memoranda how state police will work. I see it as quite frankly a waste of our time. I think the National Assembly, they know what to do. They have people that can quickly do this work. It is not the National Security Administration.
I mean, in his defense, though, it's also important for the National Assembly to do what they have to do. They cannot say that, it's because people did not submit memorandum. That's why they have not done what they are supposed to do since March of 2024. They cannot bear along. I mean, it doesn't really, all go well. But the kidnappers have released another video. They did that last week of the lady, of one of the teachers abducted. Okay, it's very sad. I'm going to play you that video. Now, this is from Mrs. Alamu, one of the ladies who were kidnapped by I don't know, they just call them abductors. I don't know if I can call them bandits. I think we don't even know exactly what they're doing or we've not really heard much about what's happening, like what their goal or what their intention is, we don't know. But here's a video they released a while back. I saw this video like 2 days ago. Yeah, so it's a bit fresh. Please take a listen to this.
We learned that yesterday some army was sent, and that has compounded our problems. It has added to our troubles. In fact, one of us has been picked that they are going to kill him because they use force. We are pleading with you not to force yourself into the bush, but please call them and dialogue with them so that the problem can be solved and we'll be able to go home alive. They have promised to kill all of us if any of the armies come into the bush again. Please, we are pleading with you. We are begging you in the name of God. Please, please. No.
All right. So that's that from the lady. I think it's a sign that the security agencies are getting very, very close, and that's a good thing. We're going to just take before we go, I just want to read one more stuff. I talked about it earlier, NUT, Nigerian Union of Teachers. I'd like to read you the letter they put out earlier, it was yesterday, 31st May. All elected state officers, all SWEC members, and so on and so forth, head teachers and principals of public primary schools, secondary schools, teachers of public primary and secondary schools. This is from the Nigerian Union of Teachers. Dear esteemed colleagues, notification of withdrawal of service by the national leadership of NUT, a call for total compliance. This is to officially convey to all public primary and secondary school teachers in Oyo State the fresh directive of the national leadership of our union, NUT, instructing us to withdraw our services from schools commencing from tomorrow, that's today, Monday, 1st June 2026, till further notice for maximum compliance. Kindly note that the directive was given against the continued detention of our colleagues and learners by the abductors without any clear sign of their timely rescue and safe release, a situation which had created fear and hopelessness in teachers, discouraged parents from sending their children to schools, and caused panic and tension across all communities in the state. While this action was taken to further call on the government to intensify strategies towards bringing the abductees back safely and without any further delay, we wish to call on our teachers to remain law-abiding and stay safe in their respective homes. The union and entire teachers in the country stand in solidarity with the victims and their families. Our small lawful engagement with the government for the safe return of the abductees continues. Solidarity forever. That's from the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Oyo State Wing. Anyway, while we're looking forward to good news from Orire local government in Oyo State, we have something to celebrate. This news is from Ikorodu, where Fulani herdsmen were arrested with their 2 vehicles loaded with bullets, guns, and explosive devices. Take a listen to this. Okay, so what's happening here is, bullets, OOB. The vehicle is loaded with bullets. They have bags and sacks filled with bullets. According to this report, the one I'm reading right now, it says OPC Dependable Security Team uncovered this at a scrap yard in Powerline Unity Estate CDA in Ijiroko along Itamaga Ijede Road, Ikorodu. So that's good news. Fulani herdsmen, I'm reading the report from Grandma Boy. Fulani herdsmen arrested in Lagos, Ikorodu with 2 vehicles loaded with bullets, guns, and explosive devices. OPC Dependable Security Team uncovered this at a scrapyard in Powerline Unity Estate CDA, Ijiroko along Itamaga Ijede Road, Ikorodu. At least that's something to be thankful for. Thank God for the small mercies. Apart from that, there's another good news, and this time it's from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State, where police arrested Seriki Fulani. Right, I'm going to read this from Spear News Online. Seriki Fulani arrested as police recover ransom bag in his kitchen. Son escapes through bush. The Ogun State Police Command has arrested a 67-year-old Seriki Fulani of Ijebu-Ode, Abdullahi Mohamadu, following the recovery of a ransom delivery bag in his kitchen during an operation targeting a wave of kidnappings across the Ijebu area. The suspect, who doubles as the leader of the Fulani community in Ijebu-Ode, was taken into custody alongside his eldest child, while his son Bala Mohamadu, a convicted kidnapper recently released from prison, and 2 other brothers evaded arrest by escaping through nearby bush path after being tipped off about the presence of security operatives. Operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit of the Ogun State Police Command, led by SP Bamdele Shitu, had been investigating a series of abduction incidents around Ijebu-Ode, Imodi, Irewon, Iwode, and Okunwa. Intelligence gathering reportedly linked all the cases to Bala Mohamadu, who had just completed a 5-year prison term for the same offense. According to a report by Tribune newspaper, a police source familiar with the operation disclosed that one of the bags used in the payment of ransom for a recent victim was traced to the family compound and recovered inside the Seriki Fulani's kitchen. Quote, one of the children who saw us coming into the community already hinted Bala and his brothers, and they had escaped through the bush, the source said. It is not only Bala who is into the business, there's also Ndaji and one other, and we are on their trail. There was an upsurge in kidnapping in the area after Bala was released from prison. Suspect admits knowledge of son's criminal past. Paraded before newsmen, Muhammadu Abdullahi, that's the Seriki Fulani, Muhammadu Abdullahi, as he is also known, pleaded innocence, insisting he had no hand in his son's criminal activities, despite sharing the same compound with him. The septuagenarian, who described himself as a cattle rearer and farmer, said that he had lived in Yoruba land for more than 3 decades. He disclosed that he has 4 wives and 30 children, and was honored with the title of Seriki Fulani in the Ijebu-Ode by the immediate past Awujale of Ijebu-Ode. Quote, I don't know anything about the bag that was found in my house. I live in the same compound with my children and wives. I have never kidnapped anybody in my life, end of quote, he told reporters. However, the community leader admitted that he was aware that his son Bala had been involved in kidnapping. He explained that after Bala's release from prison, he personally took him to a hospital where he spent 1 month receiving medical treatment. Quote, I know that Bala was into kidnapping. He was arrested and sent to prison. After he came back, I took him to the hospital where he spent 1 month for the treatment. The secretary Fulani said, I thought he had turned a new leaf because he's now into farming and cattle rearing. I didn't know that he's still into kidnapping. I don't know if any of my other sons are into kidnapping. 30. I don't know if any of his sons are into kidnapping. He says he is not into kidnapping and he will not encourage it. He further explained his decision to care for his son after imprisonment, stating, I didn't want him to die when he came back from prison. He was looking very sick and pale. I wanted the best for him and other children. I took him to the hospital and so on and so forth. Anyway, that's also good news, okay? But Baale and Tagbo, Yaore, on to go, Guru. I see there, Feshula, Bule. I mean, it says what it is, I guess. All right. I'm going to bring some people up to, speak on some of these things. We focus on security for the most part. We're going to come back and talk about some of the things happening as relating to the 2027 elections, but that will be much later. So I noticed some people, I think, okay, there's a person trying to speak on TikTok. I am going to bring you up. Akadol, yes. Good evening, Akadol. Good evening. If you'd like to contribute, please feel free to send your request. I'll bring you up. If you're not on TikTok, please send a message on Telegram. Please mute Akadol. Akadol, are you there? I don't even think Akadol knew that he sent request though. But here, so if you are not on TikTok and you want to be part of the conversation, feel free to send a message to me on Telegram at Busui Oris. Okay. And if we don't have anybody who wants to speak at the moment, I'm just going to go ahead and read and change topic. Okay. Wait, let me check the comment sections first before we change the topic. Ofure Obo on Facebook says they purposely kidnapped the school kids to distract the massive vote the Yoruba pledge for Tinubu come 2027. I can't even say you are not correct, to be honest, because it's looking like, I mean, you notice patterns, right? You notice patterns. You notice patterns. You notice patterns. Elections are so close, and the next thing is kidnap. It's very similar to bring back. I mean, even the hashtag that people are using for the protest today. Again, I support the protest. So it's important that people actually, vent. It's better that way. Let them vent, and let the government see why they need to do what they have to do. Like, get on with it. Get the kids recruitment process. If a recruitment is even long, it's still far away. Gone safe. The modalities, the structure, the system. How are you going to? I mean, the entire system, right? The what's the word now? The remuneration, the how you're going to arm them, training. Come on, sorry, recruitment go. After recruitment, now begin to train them and all those. So the point is, while it's important to have state police, and I support that 100%, I don't even think this now is the time to be talking about it. Especially, I mean, we can talk about it, but not because of the kids in the bush. We talk about it in order to prevent anything like that happening again, and make sure that the forest guards and everybody is doing what they are supposed to do. So I said all of that to say that when you look at the hashtags, and I was saying, I remember what I was saying. I was saying that I'm not against the protest. I think it's good, right? It's good for them to speak up so that the government knows, that people are not smiling about this. It's a very serious issue. However, when you look at the hashtag, bring back our children, it's very similar to bring back our girls. Very similar. And so it's not good to be doing bad things, but people should be a bit creative. But it looks like, I mean, like you can almost tell that this may, I'm not saying it does, it may have something to do with the election, like this person said on Facebook. I want to get your name again, Ofure. Thank you very much. And I think it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but it's sad. It's sad. Someone said I should read something to expose Makinde. So that's another thing. I'm not trying to expose Makinde. I'm just trying to get all of us on the same team. That was to say that regardless of the parties, we're all on the same team. And the team is about nǹkan tó máa secure ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, nǹkan tó máa kó àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ jáde àtàwọn olùkọ́ tó wà nù àhámọ́ àwọn ajínigbé. What's going to get them out of the abductors, den? The governor of Oyo State is talking about that, and he wants that to happen, and so is the president of Nigeria. Therefore, it's important for them not to start playing politics that can even, further, destroy whatever, unity of purpose that we all have. Someone says the governor is confused. Let me just leave that matter. I don't want to make a political conversation myself, to be honest. All right. I'm going to read some of the comments here on TikTok. People are actually very angry with the governor of Oyo State. I see it. I'm not going to read some of your comments though, because again, I'm trying to keep it focused on the issue. Olateju says, Oyo people are saying they find Amotekun in the large cities. Why? Because they're supposed to. Amotekun is not bush police. It's community policing. So when you say Oyo people are saying they find Amotekun in the large cities, why? Because the large cities also need policing. Amotekun is. I think people actually assume that those people are supposed to go inside bushes and forests. No. Of course, that's not to say that the forest is not part of the jurisdiction. I'm just saying that they're not confined to the bushes. They are supposed to help with community policing, and that's what they are doing. And yes, they are also in the forest. So there's nothing wrong with the fact that Ishamelo police is going to say, that's the real problem with Amotekun. Amotekun was not set up so that they can go and guard forests. They were set up to be able to aid the Nigerian police force in securing, villages, towns, cities in the southwest. So you will see them in the villages and in the forest, but if you see them in the cities, they're not doing anything wrong. It's part of their, what's the word now, jurisdiction. Someone says Amotekun has been hijacked as cheap employment for politicians, family, and friends. I don't know. Maybe not. I can't really speak on that. It's possible, but I don't really know. I don't want to talk about what I don't know. Olateju says they are in towns instead of combing the bushes and passing the information to the police. Okay. I think at the end of the day, all of us want the best for Yoruba land. So, regardless of what we are saying, all you can tell is that all of us want the best. So I think that a group like Irekun, it seems their own focus is actually those forests. Just like, by the way, if you're just joining us, I read earlier where the president said that the federal government will be recruiting 1,000 forest guards in collaboration with the Oyo State government. So they are different from Amotekun. Okay? And Irekun, the way Sunday Bo was speaking last week, he was talking about how they're going to go into the forest and get those people out because nobody should be living in the forest, and that's correct. So if that would be his focus, then that would be really nice. But Amotekun is both in town and in the bush. No law says they must stay inside the bush. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope you get the point. Okay. Ari Agility says Nigeria is ripe to have state police. I agree with you 100%. Okay, now people are really angry with Shay Makinde in the comment section. I'm just going to forge you for. Ade says that doesn't mean you can't prop up Amotekun to be almost as good as state police. So they can't. Why? Because the law that established Amotekun does not allow for that kind of propping up that we are saying. There was a time I was also talking about it. Let them give them guns. I used to always talk about it. And, then you now check the law to establish one, which is why we need state police. Again, at the end of the day, it's not really about recruitment or all these things. It's about the law. That law has to be amended first. You can't arm Amotekun the way I wanted Amotekun armed, because I feel somehow for them sometimes because they don't even have sophisticated weapons, but they're also constrained, by that law that, established that outfit. So hopefully that will help us. Somebody says, why are there no protests in Southeast with the level of violence created by UGM, ESN? I mean, this sad event has actually shown something that, I mean, we've always known it was there, but you wouldn't think anybody would be that callous, right? Dead, or, you know, the man that was slain, just put all over the social media to, I don't know, make a point, to gloat, which is absolutely ridiculous considering the fact that, number one, you're a human being. You have to be a goat. No, goat is better. You have to be a wild beast to think that there's something cool about, you know, sharing those images and using it to taunt people on social media. But again, it's not, I think at this point, it's congenital. It's exactly what the fathers did in 1966 in the North that got them in trouble, where you just go all over the place, just constitute nuisance, right? Because you're trying to make a point. Any small thing you're saying, you know, see what's happening. It's just ridiculous that Igbos are doing that across Nigeria, particularly on all social media platforms. All. I started seeing it in my comment section first. I thought it was I didn't think it was a joke. I knew it was bad, but boy, was it bad. You check all kinds of platforms and you see these people just gloating and talking about it. And, you know, it's okay. So if you're talking about the fact that they have ESN, UGM, I mean, I will speak up for UGM and ESN because of people dying, that the government should do something about it, which I did, by the way, not to gloat. But at this point, I like what's happening. It tells you exactly that everybody actually knows exactly where they belong in Nigeria, which is really cool, to be honest, and which is actually what it is, you know. And that's why you shouldn't let anybody gaslight you with, oh, unity. Everybody takes care of, you know, of their region. So whatever they want to do with UGM, ESN, may God protect them. And I hope the government also helps to ensure that their region is secure. But it's just a shame to see what has happened, especially from folks in the Southeast. But let's just move away from that. Ades on TikTok says, this excuse will not fly. He's pushing the blame. He's a CSO of the state. He can buy cameras. Benjamin says, then go ahead and create. Okay, I think that this is talking about Sheyi Makinde. What about drones and armed Amotekun? Well, this guy is just playing useless politics with the innocent. I get it. We are very passionate. And I mean, everything you say, I understand 100%. We're on the same team. Even with the governor, you know, regardless of the politics that's going on right now. Don't forget that he's trying to become president and he's talking to the incumbent. So somehow, I don't think it should happen, but that's what is happening. Ibo Jinadu says, we need Oyo and Lagos copies of the Amotekun law on Redomi. I will see if I can, you know, I'm going to write it. I will note it. But to be honest, it's almost similar. The difference is just that, again, let me just write it down so I won't forget. The difference is that Lagos had, you know, neighborhood security corps before Amotekun was created. And they didn't say they don't want Amotekun. They only made Amotekun a sub-unit or a subgroup of that security corps that they already created. So, believe it or not, Amotekun is still part of what they're doing. Ìjàlódé Lóríndòwe, Ìjàlódé Tóríndòwe fún àwọn Arabi. They're not fighting. Maybe they had meetings with Southwest Governors Forum. Ìjàlódé Lóríndòwe. And it is what it is. They will be all right. I mean, we know what's happening. We all know. I mean, we've been reading the news. Even if we don't know what's happening. This national park is a third of Abuja. When I say Abuja, I'm saying Abuja all the way from Abaji. Okay, so Abaji, Gogolada, Kuje, into town. You be into town, into, we'll say, Gariki, Gwarimpa, all the way to Idu. As in roundabout, everything in Abuja, this place is a third of it. So it's not a small place that you can just comb quickly. It's actually, give me a second. There's something, let me see if I can find you one particular stuff to Mokosibi. Ibo Mokosi, I don't know. Mambo. It's actually a big place, to be honest. The Old Oyo National Park is it's 75% of the entire land area of Lagos State. Think about it. It's 75% of the, because it's the size. Lagos State is 3,345 kilometers or square kilometers. 3,345 square kilometers. That's the size of Lagos, the landmass. Old Oyo National Park is 2,512 kilometers square or square kilometers. 2,512 square kilometers. That's Old Oyo National Park. So it's about 75% of the entire Lagos State. Not Lagos City, not Isaleko. Lagos, that's Ikorodu plus Ikeja plus Badagry, Lagos Island, everywhere. Everywhere. That park is 75% of that land area. And yes, I wrote it here also. It's a third of the Federal Capital Territory. So it's quite big. That's the point. It's quite big. It's not an excuse. I'm just trying to answer that question, just in case somebody's thinking, "Oh, is that the time they should not find them?" In fact, that's not an excuse. If you like, let it be as big as Africa. They've got to find those children. But it's also important to answer this question. So it's a big place. All right. People are actually a bit angry with the governor. Olateju says, how can they know where they are and how to get these people? Makinde has failed. Amatekun was not stationed in the local government because how could they have kidnapped that many? Dr. Badru says the videos being released by the abductors can be traced for their location. Why don't they do that thing? I mean, I don't work in security and all of that, but people say those things are possible. So why are they not doing those things? Right? If it's possible, why are they not doing that? I hope they do that. Benjamin 007 says they know where they are, but can't attack because the victims will be used as human shields. Brilliant. That's actually a very, very good answer. Thank you for that. I don't know why I even forgot that point. Quite interesting, but I'm glad you brought it up. Somebody had said, he was going to... Well, again, it's passion and it's everybody wants the best for the people. Say he was going to organize ransom, we'll get money and then, the ransom, and people are talking about different things. So someone asked a question, why can't the police why can't the army just go there, guns blazing, and just kill everybody and rescue the children? Like, they could kill the children in the process. Because they were just going to use those kids as body shields. And then the other gentleman said he was going to organize ransom for kidnapping. That should not happen, because you are going to be opening the door for many more like that in the neighborhood. But yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin, for that very good answer. Concilium Preventer says the kidnapping is an indictment on the state. Amotekun, how did it happen? The security agencies know this, but I think that was what Olateju was also trying to say earlier. So the idea basically is that if those guys, if they were close by, then how would you have been able to take away over 40 pupils? Brosoka says, this is Brosoka on TikTok. He says this thing is definitely sponsored by the same people who forced Jonathan out of government. I don't know if it's the same people, but I don't even know if anybody forced Jonathan out of government. But it's not even I think. If you observe, the pattern is the same. The pattern is the same. Bring back our girls. It's the same. It's the same. And the idea basically, people are looking at this from a political angle, are saying that, listen, this is going to eventually get people to begin to agitate and, make things difficult for the president, especially with his, re-election bid and all of that. But I don't think it's going to affect him. Primarily, to be honest, I don't but let me just say this. Number one, I think he's going to do everything he can to secure their release, and I hope that those children and the teachers are released like ASAP. Some of them are very young. I saw a picture online. I still don't believe, and this is quite interesting because I saw it, but it's difficult for me to believe that and I don't know if it's actually true that those pictures were. And by the way, I don't know if I'm in denial. I don't know if I'm in denial, but I saw the backs of children. I saw one with swollen eyes. I don't want to believe those kids. That picture is actually that of those kids. I mean, it shouldn't be anybody's child anyway to start with, but I just hope that it's not what people are saying it is. All of that to say that I'm praying, that the government will get them released. But when it comes to election, this thing cannot affect the ball. It can't. And when I want to discuss the political angle, maybe we'll get into why. But it can't. All right, Guard Your Heart on TikTok says, have you seen the BBC Africa documentary on the Biafra Civil War featuring Alabi Sama? Yes, actually. I haven't finished. I started today. It's not today's topic, but since you brought it up, let me just quickly say, by the way, it's titled Surviving Biafra. When they announced that documentary, people, I'll bring you up on people on, Igbo people, let me not say, because all these people I'm doing is just to make sure when I say people, I'm trying not to, but let's just, say it as it is. Igbos on social media said, no, it cannot be, it's a lie. They've not seen it though. Just because the name of the person, Toshe, is Meji. By the way, Gojalabi Sama's son and grandson were the ones who made that documentary. It's a beautiful work. But I think they fell short. And I understand. You see, if you're discussing that event, it's difficult to actually say the truth. It's difficult in a way. It's difficult. But you have to say the truth. You just have to say it in such a way that you can still show empathy while saying the truth. A lot of things work on for there's some things I heard, for instance, when they said that Igbos were 40 million in the eastern region. That's not true. That's definitely not true. That they had the oil, they did not have oil. Isn't the document? They didn't have oil. The oil was in the minority areas, But at least they tried. I've not finished. Just the part I've seen. I think the narrative of Biafra is always emotionally driven rather than fact driven, and it's a shame. It's a shame because the people will never learn anything because you never really go into what happened and why it happened, right? And to make it worse, which is why for some reason, especially over the last week, this last couple of days on Twitter, oh dear, Twitter has been boiling. My page in particular, and that's because of the series of videos I released. We had a session here on TikTok. We had this live session here, TikTok, YouTube, all of us, last week or 2 weeks ago. So I just released the video last week. People are angry, just cursing me out. That doesn't really matter. You have to be able, and it doesn't mean you hate. You just have to find a way to say the truth. So maybe one day we're going to do documentaries, but I think it's important for people to actually know what happened. And interestingly, those who cursed out them, Alabi Sama's son and grandson for making that stuff because they're not Igbos, are now saying, oh, it's actually quite nice. So, but some of them are saying against it, even though they've not watched it. It's actually quite interesting that Surviving Biafra, people assume that it's an Igbo story. It's not an Igbo story. Let me put it this way. It's not an exclusive Igbo story. different parts of Nigeria survived Biafra. Okay, and a lot of things happened in different parts of Nigeria during that war. People were recruited into the army. Yoruba people fought and died. Some of them did not even fight. They were at home. Igbos went to kill them. But if you mention that thing now, they just begin to, froth in the mouth as though epilepsy is going on. Like, oh, you cannot say that. And I wrote some things on Twitter. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have a full live session. I'll probably read some of the comments. People just angry and say things. The point is, and I said this, and I will just quickly paraphrase it, that people want a monopoly on victimhood, all right? Because their identity is based on victimhood. So to take that away from them is to strip them of their power and of their identity and of their sense of being. I didn't put that on Twitter, but that's the truth. All right. So whenever you say this is what happened, or you say, oh, you were an aggressor here, say, no, I can't be an aggressor because I'm supposed to be the victim in every story. It's such a retarded way of having historical conversation, especially when the facts don't align with the victim narrative. But yeah, I saw that's a very long-winded answer to your question. So yes, I saw it. I'll read more comments later. Let me bring some people up. Everybody will be all right in this country. Okay, we have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to say it respectfully and with love, but we can't cower and just live in falsehood because we want to make some people comfortable. It's nonsense. We'll talk about other things later. Please mute Concilium. Bumblebee also. Where's Bumblebee? Bumblebee, okay, I'm going to invite you now because I didn't see you up. Concilium Preventers. Ẹkáàbọ, ṣé dáadáa lẹ wà?
Ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ o, ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun tẹ́ ń ṣe o.
Yes, sir.
A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o.
Ẹ ṣeun.
Ọwọ́ yín máa roké o.
Yes, sir.
So, quick one, I just wanted to get to it and move on. I've been waiting for you for a while. This issue with Oyo and Makinde, obviously he's playing politics, but Gary ti pọ̀jù mi lọ, àbí omi ti pọ̀jù Gary lọ, whichever one to apply. Because I don't know what he's doing. Because I was the one that sent the message of Amotekun in cities and in towns and whatnot. Because I don't know how they are established or what they do exactly. I'll be honest with you about that. Because I'm sure they should have a station in every local government or at least every town or at most every town, local government. They don't need to engage these guys. They just need to follow them. Come on, for a few days now, a few weeks, or almost a week, we didn't know where these kids were. I think they figured out where they are right now. Maybe they are looking for options that has to deal with them from afar. That's that. Makinde, I don't know what he's doing. I can't, for the life of me, I can't say what he's doing. But it all boils down to another issue that I've always suspected, and throughout history, the few books I've read, and ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo ti gbọ́, àwọn ará Ọ̀yọ́ wọ́n ní problem. Ìjà wà lára wọn. Pointless fights. Ìjọ ẹnu wọn ò lè kò sójú kan. Wọ́n máa bára wọn jà ní.
Concilium. Ẹni sùúrù Ọ̀yọ́ yàtọ̀ sọ́yọ́ state tó. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀?
Àwọn ará Ìbàdàn ni. Àwọn náà lọ máa ń gbé àwọn lọ́yọ́. Ìjà ni ìjà pointless ìjà. Gbọ́dọ̀ Mákindé sọ̀rọ̀ káwọn èèyàn kì í lẹ́yìn pé ride on kí ni mo gbélé. Is this 1950 politics or 1960 politics? Kí ni lẹ́yìn sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí fún? This is a pressing issue. It's an indictment on you as the governor. Chief Security Officer of the state. I just saw Chief Security Officer of the state. Wọ́n ṣe irúkọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ nǹkan ìwé ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láàrin òun pariwo pé state police. Kí ni state police fẹ́ ṣe lọ́rọ̀ yìí sì? They are trying to talk. So ìsìn lọ́rọ̀ fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ni. You are planning on contesting for presidency or supporting somebody to contest for presidency. Ó sọ̀rọ̀. Ó ṣe kí ni a few months ago ló ṣe conference ní state tó kó everybody wá. Eventually wọn náà lọ síbi kan ẹni pé bàdó sẹ́yìn èèyàn kan wọn náà lọ sí presidential candidate síbi kan. The man is, I don't know what to, I will not insult a Yoruba person, but àmọ́ bàbá yẹn mú ọ̀rẹ́ ọ̀yẹ́ mi kọjá ìdímọ̀ lè kí bàbá ọmọ ọdún mélòó gbà lọ́ọ̀bì kọjá ṣé ebi àti kọ́lẹ́gbẹ́ ni ní Yorùbá kókó tó ẹbí. Stupid, very stupid. Òun gba kíní kan million gba tó ń jẹ́ 20 kíní kan ó dẹ̀ ń sọ in the era of corruption. Ta ló mọ̀ pé ẹni tó gba business nígbà yẹn tó anybody tó bá rí ṣe in the 70s and 80s 2 military kíní ni kò tọ́ sí ẹ ó gbà ní òde lọ kò sí nǹkan tí ìwọ̀n fún bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ ó wá ní pé ó gbà nígbà kan tí kí ṣe kíní kan ìwọ bí ti bá o kó rà ní dasọ́n yàrin dín wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ bí ọ̀dẹ̀ so bọ́lọ̀ ṣe wà nìyẹn. The truth of the matter is that it's an indictment on him, but even the federal government themselves should have used, because that space Yes, you said that it's very big, it's a very big place. Granted. But that place has been so porous. Now leads me to another question. Obviously, throughout the period of the 70s and 80s and 90s, Nigeria was always porous. We just did not know. Gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́pàá ẹni tó wà ní títì àbí táwọn ọlọ́pàá ń lé ìwọ̀n tó bá ti wọnú gbó ọlọ́pàá ò lè mú ẹ. So it's not obvious to everybody now that there are places that are unsecured in Nigeria. That sort of pact, so people might have been living there for ages and nobody knows about them. Nobody knows where they are. So the salo or Baba Seriki Jebo there, look, these people are amongst what you want what and obviously because of some people. Look, I'm a Christian. Or I was born a Christian. I'm not a practicing one. I don't much care for religion anymore. The truth of the matter is that I have lots of relatives, Muslim. My mother was born a Muslim. The truth of the matter is that we let a lot of things slide because of religion, especially Islamic religion. We let a lot of people because we are easygoing people. We think everybody's as easygoing as we are. A lot of people are there to milk us. And it's very sad that Baba one Nijebo day, and nobody thought to and he says doesn't know anything about it. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. We don't know. But we have let the devil in. We need to find a way to secure ourselves. Àwọn ìyá tó ń jẹ wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn ò tí ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn wèrè wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn ìlọ ṣe fúnra wọn. Àkọsà wa kọ́ là ń ṣe lé. Ará àta ló wá ń ṣe fún wa. Àwọn ará àwọn náà ṣe ra wọn nínú ìlú wọn. So àti fi yẹn lẹ̀ kẹ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀. But it's very sad what they are doing. And the fact that Makinde did not think to call on the presidency, let us work together. Let us find he was playing politics with it. Ọ̀gá inú Ìbàdàn yẹn gan máa nù ẹ́. Inú Ìbàdàn wọ́n máa nù ẹ́. Inú presidential election tó fẹ́ ṣe yẹn. Eléyìí ló máa ṣe gbogbo candidate yẹn tó fẹ́ múlẹ̀ fún senate àti gbogbo wọn máa nà wọ́n for this very reason. Tí security officer tó ń ṣe orúkọ báyìí. Oh no, it's very sad. But ẹ ti ká má bù á ní sọ́wọ́n kan mọ́. Ẹ ṣé gan.
Ẹ ṣé o. Ẹ ṣé tẹ́ bù wọn o. Thank you very much. So a few things. Let's start with the stuff they saw the Mr. Remi called the comment section ní Àwùjalẹ̀ Turban Seriki Fulani ní Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde. Ṣùgbọ́n olórí àwọn èèyàn ẹ̀ nínú ìlú bó ṣe yẹ kó rí náà nìyẹn. Maybe the word turban is not ọba òun ni ọ̀gá àwọn olórí àwọn Fúlàní tó wà ládùúgbò. Wọ́n yẹn ṣe fáwọn Yorùbá náà ní nílẹ̀ Haúsá nìyẹn. Okay. Tẹ́bá ti ní kíní. It's not like he has a separate territory. It's the same thing you find all over the place. You have a person who is leading their own people. That doesn't mean that the person should now be involved in, crime. But let me just quickly read something to respond to what Consillium brought up. He mentioned, he asked a question about the structure of Amotekun. Okay, Amotekun is a Western Nigeria security network. And the structure is a bit unique. I'm just going to read here. This is from Premium Times. I'll read from Premium Times. Yeah. Mama Kole mini joko ti katon. Some from Premium Times, some from other places. The state governor is the ultimate commander-in-chief of the corps within that specific state. Okay. Number one is a paramilitary network. The paramilitary framework. It follows a paramilitary framework. So it is not a police force as it is. All right, that's one. Number two, the state governor is the ultimate commander-in-chief of the corps within that specific state. They have a governing board, which is a supervisory board, and it is chaired by retired high-ranking military or police officer. And that governing board includes representatives from the police, the military, civil defense, and traditional institutions to ensure interagency. The chairman of that supervisory body must be a retired military officer or a retired police officer. Apart from him, within that governing council, you have representatives from the police who are serving, from the military, the civil defense, and traditional institutions in order to ensure interagency cooperation. They now have the core commander or the agency chairman, who is responsible for the day-to-day operations across the entire state. Then you have the deputy or assistant commanders. They oversee operational arms such as intelligence operations or media and administration. Then you have zonal or area commands, divided according to the state's political senatorial districts to coordinate clusters of local government. So you are going to have 3 area or zonal commands because we have 3 Senate districts in states across, Nigeria essentially, but of course across Yoruba, across Southwest and every other part of Nigeria. Then you have the local government command. So the zonal area command, which is the state's political senatorial districts, coordinate the clusters of local government. The local government command is where you now have the operatives who are stationed close to the communities they cover. Again, they are not meant just for forests. They are close to the communities. So each local government across the state would have an outpost of Amotekun. Then you then have the field operatives. They're the boots on the ground, and some of them are local hunters, vigilantes, members of specialized local security groups who possess intimate knowledge of the immediate terrain, forests, and remote roads. So across the 6 states, there are headquarters, so to speak. Ibadan is the regional launch pad, is the regional headquarters, but it also has its own state command. Oyo State has one in Alagbaka, Ogun has in Abeokuta, Osun has in Oshogbo, Ekiti has in in Ado-Ekiti. Lagos is working within the existing structures of the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Agency. That's the Neighborhood Watch that we mentioned earlier. So I just read all of that to quickly answer the question from Concilium. They have a structure, and it is plugged into the Nigerian political structure itself, looking at the state, the senatorial district, and the local government. All right, I hope I answered the question. Thank you very much. So let's go to Bumblebee now. Good evening, Bumblebee.
Good evening, Prof. I was really itching to come.
Ẹkáàbọ.
As usual, I'm in transit, but I always try not to miss because for me it's very, very important. Another thing I also do is to try and listen on YouTube, listen to most of these mainstream media channels to have a feel of what is going on in the country. I listen to channels, I listen to Arise, and listen to TVC as well. One thing I realize is because of the proximity to people in power that TVC has, they tend to get a lot of very, very solid, semi-first-hand information. They might say it's only sugarcoated or only that so, but you will know that this thing is coming from the absolute legit source. Number 2, in as much as Profile Senior and the rest, their profile himself is very irritating. You have someone like Dr. Abati, he has a way of bringing balance towards there because of his level of experience. And then you have the other members of their crew that are a bit leftist in their ideologies and everything. People that are always trying to talk about things happening in the US, UK, and all that nonsense without putting context to how the Nigerian situation is. Well, I try to listen to that. Then channels is in between. So let me go to my submission. First of all, I don't like Sheyi Makinde and his politics. I've never been a fan of him. The reason is, I don't know, for some reason the guy doesn't know how to read the room. Every Southwest government should be on a straight line where everybody will collaborate. Even if you are in opposition party, collaborate with the center. Presidency Southwest. That's the time for you to key in, take politics right, and maximize development in your region. All the unnecessary blockers, the being able to go to Baba will help you remove all those blockers, and Tobaje 20-year plan, you'll be able to kickstart it and get resources to get things done. That's the advantage of being in power. yes, they will distribute resources across the federation, but then, there will be some sort of, something that they will be able to sit down, irrespective of what the outside politics is and what the general politics out there is. You'll be able to do some internal politics and get things done for your people. You are there for the people. You are not there for yourself or for your ego. You like it. So that's that about Sheyi Makinde. I'm not a big fan of him at all. Even though, Osun State, sorry for my long-winded comment. Even though for Osun State, Adeleke, the man is trying. Someone said I was in Osogbo, I think 2 years ago. Some projects who are very powerful. Sorry for the noise in the background. Very, very powerful. And from some of the leaks, Mori online, they said Baba Sokwe Kuma produce candidate for APC conflict for second term, because number one is supporting Baba for second term. Number two, they said something along the line of they need somebody who is rich, who is not going there to steal to enrich himself. Those are like someone like that to be able to cause development in Osun State, and that was why they left him there, and they are not really antagonizing him. So on a straight line, everybody work in the southwest. So that being said, I don't like Sheyi and his politics. So it's not personal, but he's not maximizing what's there. Second of all, the information I got from MSN, mainstream media, on these kidnapped children, I can't remember which exactly I got it from, but they said, number one, they've been able to triangulate the location of those people. Number two, those people, those armsmen, those kidnappers have been communicating via WhatsApp with family members. So there's some sort of communication, and there might be an avenue for them to trace them. Thirdly, I heard that they have gotten their location and they are trying to go there, but the kidnappers have been saying, don't come, you don't want us to unalive the children and all that, the way hostage takers do. I think those negotiations are already have commenced and all that. Number three is, one thing we need to understand about security is, what the Bible says. It says to fear, let me paraphrase, it says something about showing respect or showing regard for people in power because they bear the rule for a reason. Power and force of arm is for two things. Number one, first of all, is deterrence. Deterrence is number one. When you see a lot of armed forces, China, Korea, and all those people doing their military parade, is a form of deterrence to show. It's not like when a dog is barking and is showing his teeth. It's telling you that don't come, or if you come, I can bite you. That's deterrence. First of all, you buy and arm yourself. You buy arms and arm yourself as a form of deterrence. First of all, so that our countries, KKK, and small enemies will know that, okay, you actually have those things to be able to deal with you if you come, which is one of the things that Amotekun is there for. Second of all, you need to actually bear arms to actually enforce law. When the need presents itself, you need to be able to deliver and punish. Those are the two things that deterrence is for. Deterrence also means that, by God's grace, I think they should profile all these people, all these funny elements. They should profile them. Number one, when they are able to secure the release of those children, they should chase them down with every resource possible and pinpoint all of them and get them as a form of deterrence to let them know that Southwest is not a place for them to come and play around. So that's number three. Then number four is prevention. This has happened. I think it's apparent to us that these people, this insecurity and everything happening in Nigeria has feathered down from the north down to the south, and is here. It's no longer important. So it's down the southwest. So after securing the release of these children, there has to be preventive measure. Someone once said, I think I watched the content one time, and they were like, look, if somebody comes to kidnap you, first thing you must do, never let them take you away from that place. If they are going to kill you, let them kill you there. Because the truth is, what's going to happen to you when they take you away from that place is going to be worse than whatever it is they want to do to you there. There must be prevention.
All right, let's bring it to wrap up.
Yeah, there must be prevention to make sure that whomever comes to try and, harm people must be dealt with there. Don't let them have the opportunity to take our people into the forest and everything. Number 5 is, I think one of the reasons the government of the day is dragging their feet is I think there is the problem of our Arabi. In the next 2 minutes I'll wrap up. Sorry for the long-winded response. Our Arabi, there are things that are on the ground. People don't, in as much as you are trying to create a solution to a problem, you also don't want to create a problem, another problem. I'm thinking that they are trying to avoid a situation where the state police are being used as a special purpose vehicle by some unruly elements at the state or regional level for their own purpose. Drag and they are looking at all the things that may go wrong and may not go wrong and everything. So they should work on communication between the Amotekun at every regional level. The Amotekun in Osun State should be able to get information to the one in Ogun State, should be able to get information to one in Oyo State. In a matter of seconds, there should be centralized communication. So I want to point any can contribute. Thank you very much, Prof. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I enjoyed your submission, although the noise in the background didn't want you to shine. But we're glad, you were able to share your thoughts. Thank you very much, sir. All right. I think somebody else wants to speak, but before we bring other people, I just read some news report here. In fact, before we read, let me even play you a video from the Chief of Staff to the President, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. He
wọ́n wà lẹ́ni àwọn mójútó gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Kéèké lọ sinmi kẹ́ni fọkànbalẹ̀ pé ìjọba àwọn President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wọ́n wà lórí situation tábàrà wa. Pé àwọn ọmọ yìí pẹ̀lú ọgbọ́n náà lágbára náà wọ́n máa padà láìpẹ́ láì ṣe kíni láìpẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Wọ́n dẹ̀ fi yé wa pé àwọn kan mo rò pé èèyàn méjì àbí mẹ́ta lọ́pa. Àdébẹ̀ láti lọ rí àwọn ẹbí wọn. Wọ́n á gbé wọn sáfẹ́fẹ́ rẹ̀ ọjọ́ àjìnà síra wọn. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Àáfi àsìkò yìí àgbọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu NSA wa àti Minister of Defence wá bá a sọ̀rọ̀ ní ṣókí. Àwọn náà wọ́n wà lára àwọn tí President wa tó rán wá síbí báyìí. Ẹ ṣé.
All right. That was Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff to the President, and that was him speaking in your state. The Minister of Defense was also there, as well as the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. What that's happening in your state, there's something for folks in Ibejuleki. The chairman of the local government has put out a statement, public security advisory to reports and concerns regarding the recent arrival of certain groups of persons into part of our communities. as an administration that places the safety and security of our people above all else, we have taken this concern seriously and immediately engaged the relevant security agencies. I am pleased to inform residents that security authorities at both the state and local levels are fully aware of the situation and are actively monitoring developments. Necessary intelligence and security measures are being implemented to ensure the continued peace and stability of our communities. Just to say that people are complaining about certain people moving into Ibejuleki, and I think it's important for us all to do the same. Like, if you see anything, please say something, right? If you see something, say something. Let's also help the government to secure our spaces. I'll bring 2 more people up and then I'll wrap up. Tomorrow we're going to have a full session, but let's have 2 more people on. I'm going to read some of your comments later, please. Maybe after one person, I'll read your comments, I'll go to the other person. So, 2 has become 3, then B2 later become 3. Sheloba, Plantation Boys. All right, please mute. Thank you. All right, let's have Madam Mimi Joseph. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Ẹkáàbọ. Yes, ma'am.
Ní ríru gbogbo kìíní ìmọ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run. The first thing I want to say ni pé mo gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan táwọn èèyàn ń sọ, and I've been following things in the newspapers. Ó dàbí ẹni pé a máa ń wà reactive ní Nigeria. And it's sad because the chicken has come home to roost at this point, because the woman herself was saying that tí wọ́n bá try láti intervene with force. So there are people who are trained in hostage negotiations. I just wish the government to consult. I want 200 Americans to know what I'm being. I hope they're utilizing all the resources. So if you tell me first, so the southwest of Nigeria can implement residency requirements, Nibe, like they do in other places. So Entoba relocates, for instance, many requirements. So they must do certain things to make sure at least they have a record of everybody, whether budget trailer and they need to have an office that registers them as soon as they get into a particular state. It's not that they can't move freely from another state overnight, but you need to know the people that live in your state. That's number one. The second thing, I don't know, I've not read anything to the effect that I want more president, so tech, or they're deploying tech and all that. So, landlord, they still kidnap 2 kids, to see me, more, 2 young girls. It's not that kidnappings don't happen in other places, but what happens is that someone back be or money see. Both cell phone, Loma beep. Tebanwo television is going to show up there that a child was just kidnapped, and these are the descriptions. And so everybody, you get it on your TV, on your cell phone, on any device that you have. If you're watching TV, it's showing there. It puts everybody on guard so that within 24 hours, they can deploy any sort of additional technology. It helps policing a country or a large space. Because it's only a lost area they describe National Park. Cover within, as a reactive thing within a short while. So they need to implement certain things that will prevent anything from escalating. And those are some of the things. They have ISPs, they have MTN and all these phone providers at only television stations. It should be almost like a tornado alert with few seconds notice. Everybody should know that one lossy school by. First of all, it helps the other schools in the neighborhood to shut down and be on lockdown. And it helps police, even if we have state police, Kò sí magic tán fẹ́ ṣe. And that's it's sad, but that's the reality. Kò sí magic tán fẹ́ ṣe. Téèyàn ò bá ti tẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ nǹkan tó máa sùn lé nìyẹn. I pray to God that they get these people out in Jesus' name. But we need to start doing things right in Nigeria. And the last, the 2 points Timothy make apart from that tape you played, this flag has 30 children. It is sad that as intelligent as Nigerians are, they have not been able to factor in population control as part of nation building. You cannot be giving birth endlessly. Kò sí ẹni náà tó máa gbé Obama wá govern Nigeria, kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe with the explosion in population. Okay, let me give you the statistics. Nigerians give birth to 7.4 million babies every year. As opposed to 44 countries in Europe, they have 6.4 million babies in that same time period. 44 maybe wealthier countries won't be 6.4 million. Nigerians in be 7 point something. Lord Odun. That is not possible to govern. I'm sorry. It's not like I'm not into Nigerian politics, but I see for one that Tinubu is trying on the monetary and fiscal angles. The security situation in Nigeria could possible unless they start implementing a population policy, residency requirements for every state. It's not discrimination. Kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ discrimination. Tí n bá move láti Pennsylvania lọ sí Illinois, mo láti register, otherwise ọlọ́pàá bá pull mọ́tò mi after 2 months or 90 days or something. They can give me a ticket of $200. So you have to implement that. It's governance. It's not discrimination. So that's my own. They need to, at some point, China had a one-child policy. And I'm sorry, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I know polygamy makes it complicated in Nigeria, but they have to start regulating the population. And then the fourth thing, Tim, over on private security, like Wagner Group. What's in the point to just pay? Some state governments may have to consult, some mercenaries to help them. Ransom. There's a reason FBI does not ransom. What's why the 2 trillion naira economy to kidnap, and it's not going to while delivering and rescuing people. So that's really my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mimi, for that submission. I'm going to quickly read something from the Oyo State Police Command. Press release: Oyo Police Command arrests suspects over false bandit attack alarm in Lamini community, warns against misinformation and disinformation. The Oyo State Police Command wishes to inform members of the public that it has arrested 2 suspects in connection with the deliberate dissemination of false information alleging that bandits invaded Lamini community in Ido, local government area of Oyo State, and killed 6 persons. The command's attention was drawn to a widely circulated voice note on various WhatsApp platforms and other social media channels claiming that armed bandits had attacked Lamini community and killed 6 residents. The publication generated fear, panic, and apprehension among residents and other members of the public, while creating unnecessary tension within and around the affected area. Upon receipt of the information, the command immediately mobilized patrol and tactical teams to Lamini community and its environs to verify the claim, reassure residents, and douse the palpable tension generated by the alarming report. Following a thorough assessment and on-the-ground verification, it was conclusively established that the purported bandit invasion and killing of 6 persons never occurred. Consequently, the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, CP Abimbola Ayodeji Olugbenga, PSC MNI PS, directed the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of the State Intelligence Department, SID, to undertake a comprehensive investigation into the origin and dissemination of the false information. The ensuing intelligence-driven investigation, supported by forensic analysis, traced the incriminating voice notes to Pastor Amos Joel Muiwa, who was subsequently arrested. During the investigation, During interrogation, the suspect admitted to authoring and circulating the voice note without verifying the authenticity of the information. Further investigations revealed that the false alarm originated from one Mulikat Bashiru, who had raised the unfounded claim within the community. She was thereafter identified, traced, and arrested in connection with the matter. Both suspects are currently cooperating with investigators as efforts continue to establish the full circumstances surrounding the incident and identify any other persons involved in the creation or propagation of the false narrative. But essentially, I'll read one or two more paragraphs. The Oyo State Police Command views the deliberate spread of false information, fake news, misinformation, and disinformation as a security threat. I'll tell that again. The Oyo State Police Command views the deliberate spread of false information, fake news, misinformation, and disinformation as a serious threat to public order, national security, peaceful coexistence. Such actions are capable of triggering panic, undermining public confidence, disrupting socioeconomic activities, and diverting critical security resources away from genuine emergencies. Misinformation and disinformation do not merely essentially saying that don't do it. There's there's some people who are also doing the same thing on Twitter earlier today. A lot of them are deleting, because DSS might be, I don't know what people are going after. You want cheap likes, you want to, insult the president and, say he's not doing well. You're now forming all kinds of things. I saw some pictures, maybe I'll talk about it later. But we'll let somebody speak. The idea basically is just that people are disseminating wrong information, fake news, just to be able to, for whatever reason, okay, and then you discover that people are just honestly afraid, and there's panic all over the place because of, I don't know if it's likes or cheap fame, I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad the police is doing their job. Let's go to Benjamin. Oh, good evening, Mr. Benjamin. Please keep it short because I'm going to have to leave very soon. Good evening.
Very much, bro. Yeah,
welcome,
just
sir.
one thing. Just to quickly chip in some stuff. It's like if you look at the situation in Nigeria, it's like some people are behind all those things. Actually, I agree that there is insecurity everywhere in Nigeria, and they are coming to Southwest gradually. And it's like some people, they are trying to weaponize that thing in order to just shift focus on Tinubu alone. Okay, all this money they are giving to governors, senators, rep, the government chairman, what are they doing with the money? They will say that it's a security vote that they are not accounting for. Why will you give money to someone that if you not give account on how you spend that money? That is another corruption. That is another way that the insecurity is going. Another aspect is that all those people doing illegal mining in our forests with the complicity of the palace, all these village palace, they know it's all those things, and they are keeping these people just because of the tips they are giving to them. They are allowing them to do mining. Anybody know that anywhere they are doing illegal mining, they tend to have good ammunition because their buyers come with good ammunition for them to protect them and to cause chaos in the town, so that people attention will be shifted from the main issue. So a lot of things, even our citizenship, people, the citizens of Nigeria, they are very, we are very, let me say, most of us are very complacent. We don't verify information. All this, like the one you just read now, that they've spreading the false news, is supposed to attach a very great punishment. Punish them, let them know that this thing, let people know, so that people will differ from it. So that's just my submission, sir. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin, for that submission. I really appreciate it. So our final speaker for today will be Mr. Fola. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Olotu.
Ẹkáàbọ.
Yeah. Yes,
sir.
Mo fẹ́ kí ẹ mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń dá wọn lóhùn yẹn, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń fún wọn lọ́rọ̀ tẹ́ máa ń rán wọn sílé. Èèyàn kan tó ń sọ pé kìíní kan, one of those disruptive people on the comment section. Ó dùn mí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe dá lóhùn, mo máa ń like bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń rán wọn sílé yẹn. Dó mo bá yín dá lóhùn díẹ̀díẹ̀ o, but
ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan náà ni.
Ó máa ń dàbẹ̀ ṣe máa ń ẹ mọ̀ pé tẹ́ bá ti sọ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn yọ kan ẹ kì í máa notice nǹkan máa disappear ni. So first and foremost, yes, we are praying and we are hoping, and everybody is doing all they can to see that we recover these children. Ademari wọn lágbára Ọlọ́run. The most important thing that I want, as many other people have said on this platform, I want us to insist for them to use force and for them to make a second video. Once sábà ṣe second video, tó bá ti ṣe first one, wọ́n máa ní sùúrù, wọ́n á san ransom. But eléyìí, ó dà ń pa àwọn náà tí ń gbòòrò nítorí iná tí ń fi wọn. But what is wrong with Seyi Makinde? What the heck is his problem? I don't understand how you turn issues this serious into politics. I can't fathom it. These children's life are at stake. What is the reason for state police? So state police will create so okay so bó ṣe ti kidnap àwọn ọmọ yẹn can state police wà ńbẹ̀ Shema station police post sínú school yẹn, or who expected a criminal to be a criminal? That's the first instance. And he just goes about doing frivolities. Olótùṣe mọ̀ kó wọ́n tún airport Ìbàdàn kọ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. International
flight mélòó tó lọ? Ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi pé flight mélòó ló lọ sí airport Ìbàdàn sir.
Mélòó?
Sir, it is 2 flights in a day, scheduled flights, non-scheduled, boya private jet.
But that's actually that's progress. So because once in 2 days, the
airport one betele ko tún call from the scratch. All he did, he extended the runway, which is admirable.
Yeah.
However, he decided to build another terminal building. And there's an existing Cherry. They build infrastructure. It is very close to a white elephant project. I'm just trying to say that they would waste money on these things that does not impact everybody. Kini toko itori gbogbo wọn fẹ́ máa wá seko láti wá wọ plane ni. If we are calling a spade, how many people only afford 150k from Ibadan to Abuja? She understand me, but at this juncture that we are meant to be collaborating.
Fojú tẹ́ḿbẹ́lú ìlú tán ti bí mi o.
No, Ibadan, me Ibadan, no Olotu, me Ibadan. I'm just trying to say.
Like compared to, you're saying that compared to the amount of money invested in that particular project.
Yes, on that infrastructure. Now, even if you have a problem with the president, I remembered when Tinubu and Baba Obasanjo, when they were at it, there was a time in redemption camp that Stella Obasanjo came. Ashiwaju came to the church service because he was somewhat the governor of the state, though redemption camp is in Ogun State. But he came there. See, let's put our differences aside. Ambarawaja kò mean pé kẹ́mi èèyàn kan bọ́. And nǹkan tó ń bí mi nínú ni pé ó wá ń fún àwọn ará bíi ó ń fún wọn lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀. Gbogbo wọn ti ń support Ṣèyí sí ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ́ pé ibi ọ̀tẹ̀ láti kúkú máa ti wọ́n á rí àwọn yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀. Ibi ọ̀tẹ̀ ìdí ìbàjẹ́ láti máa rí wọn. My hope, and I wish very much that this week this issue will be put to bed. Because you need to see the amount of hatred on social media. Táwọn kan dẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ máa jí láàárọ̀ wọ́n á máa ṣépè fún bàbá wọn. I'm talking of wọ́n ṣépè fún bàbá ìlú wa. Kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tán máa ṣe. Bàbá yẹn ló ṣì máa wọlé. Wọ́n ọ̀rọ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀dá. Wọ́n ti ọ̀rọ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀dá. Ṣebí àwọn kan lọ fọ́n party NDC. Ó dùn mí pé ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ NDC primary.
mi fẹ́ ó yẹ ká sọ̀rọ̀ election lẹ́yìn eléyìí bọ̀ àti pẹ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ kìíní jù tí NDC primary yẹn fọ́ ní gan they were fighting over primary o party tó ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ń jẹta àbẹ̀jọ́ o.
party ìjẹta o lọ́ fẹ́ lura wọn pa ló lé lórí tó yẹn ẹ mọ nǹkan tí gbogbo wọn hope ni gbogbo wọn rò pé ó máa dàbí 2023 tí gbogbo wọn ride on LP that they rode on the anger of the youth wọ́n mọ̀ pé ojú àwọn èèyàn ti là nítorí ẹni gbogbo wọn ṣe sáré lọ sí LP nítorí mi ìmọ̀ bíi tí Emeka Ike ti ń ṣe politics.
tó lọ pariwo l'Abuja ẹrí fíjò yẹn.
mo rí ẹ wo olóòtú ọlọ́run àti ẹ̀kọ́ àwọn leaders wa mọ̀ ṣe lágbára ọlọ́run kóṣù kọ́sẹ̀ yìí tó parí ara àwọn ọmọ yẹn gbà lágbára ọlọ́run lágbára Èdùmàrè.
Àmín.
Thank you very much, sir.
Àmín. Àṣẹ. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Ẹ ṣeun. Thank you. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about what happened with NDC, and so today we're supposed to talk about security and 2027 power play, but apparently we spent a lot of time on security, and that's okay. It's worth that and more. So we will discuss the news about the primary elections in different parties tomorrow, and we're going to have a full session tomorrow, so we'll be on camera and all of that. All of that just to say that this last weekend was crazy. So people were angry in Abuja. They said they moved to Abuja not too long ago. They registered in Imo State, but they got angry that they did not win. There's some people who went on social media to insult Wike and said that it's just an appointee. And Wike also fired back. And Wike did not fire back until after the so-called primary election in that party, where Aisha Yusufu, who was calling him an appointee, clearly lost because, of course, the ticket was given to a woman who doesn't have social media. See, social media is a tool. It's a tool. It doesn't mean that if you have likes and follows, it means that followers that it's going to be the same thing in politics. You have to use it as a tool, not to think that it's the constituency. Because some people on social media who are supporting some of the politicians, they don't belong they don't live in that constituency, and they're definitely not members of the party. So that they're saying Majolo Mowenye does not mean that when it's time for primary elections, the person on Twitter will now come to join the party to vote for you. That's why when people say things like we went on Twitter and just saw this thing, we know that we're going to win. It's just ridiculous, because if you're in a particular state and people are shouting, yay, some of them are in Toronto, some of them are in Calgary, some of them are in London, they're in different parts of the world, right? It doesn't mean that they actually live, in that territory, but that actually was quite good. And also the news, yes, Babachi Lawa also left ADC, which is quite interesting considering the things that he said about Tinubu. Politics is bad goal. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow. All right, but thank you very much for being part of this session. We also have Peter B promising 10,000 megawatts. So we would like to know how he intends to achieve that feat.